All right, dude, we're live.
We are live.
Welcome on in. Oh, hold on. Let me
Ding, ding, ding.
there we go. Utah 55-28 win over Baylor. Kind of an interesting game. A really interesting game. Utah's defense really struggled tonight, the secondary in particular, but the offense was dominant. The run game was dominant. It was one of the most unique games I've ever watched. Just what are instant takeaways? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, really weird to see a win where the offense, carried the defense, to put it lightly. 563 total yards for Baylor to Utah's 483. Baylor had 430 yards through the air. Knew this was going to be a test for the secondary. Best quarterback Utah's played all season, especially in terms of pure passer. So kind of knew that they were going to get theirs. 55-28. I think that exceeded expectations for me,
though.
Is that? His phone's.
There. Okay, can you hear us? Come on, D-tier.
I'll say it with my chest if I have to.
Yeah, say it with your chest, brother. I swear, man, we had this figured out. Like, we were cruising all season long, and then the last two games.
Better? Okay.
All right,
well, let's make sure we say it with our chest.
Yeah,
we'll
say it with our chest. There we go. So one of the more unique games we've ever covered, ever watched. 55 points on the board. Utah's run game just popped for big play after big play after big play.
8 yards of carry.
8 yards of carry tonight. Really impressive. Wayshawn Parker goes over 100 yards yet again, gets to continue to wear the pink cleats, which I guess is a thing now for Whittingham. He mentioned in the post-game press conference that Wayshawn gets to wear the pink cleats again next week because he went over 100 yards tonight. So as long as we keep that streak going, I think that's a good thing.
3 games in a row?
3 games in a row.
Yeah. We were talking when Wayshawn broke off that big one, we were talking about how much it means to this team to have a happy Wayshawn that's having fun, finding that success, getting touchdowns, getting yards, getting big plays, being the man. Feels like he's that guy with that kind of contagious energy. So it means a lot to have a guy like that having fun.
Interesting game in the sense that Utah's passing attack just was almost non-existent. Just barely over 100 yards on the night. Devin Dampier completed
6 passes, 13.
6 passes,
6 of 13.
6 of 13.
80 yards.
80 yards. A couple touchdowns, though,
yep.
Still. Just a really interesting game. And I think it was really interesting. Obviously, Whittingham revealed that in the post-game presser that Dampier is still not 100%, and it's limiting him. And that's what's sort of leading to the opportunities for Bird, particularly in the run game. And Bird is coming in and making the most of them.
Yeah, you can't say anything other than he's making the absolute most of them. And it's good to have that insurance policy and able to just keep that offense moving the way that it needs to. And having both of them ready to play is awesome. And it was really cool to see them on the field in the post game. ESPN had both of them up there for the interview together. In the press game conference, both quarterbacks in there together. They're best friends, and they alluded to that a little bit. So if you catch that in the post game and listen to the way that they talk about each other, it's exactly what you'd want in a QB1, QB2 situation where some might stir a controversy pot a little bit. These two are totally unfazed by any of that.
Absolutely. They talked a lot about their friendship on and off the field, how much time they spend together. It's a really unique dynamic. It's so unique. It's not too often that you see two quarterbacks, have the sort of friendship that they have while the two are making plays on a pretty consistent basis. Again, just given the nature of the quarterback position, I think this is something that Utah fans should really appreciate. because it is so unique. And I think it speaks to the culture and the improved, vibes within the program, within the team, and within that quarterback room specifically, with the sort of personality that Dev has and Bird has. He's come in and just been that young freshman, learning from the veteran, learning from Dev, and Dev has really embraced that. And I think finding a way to manage that, I think, really speaks highly of Jason Beck and his ability to manage that quarterback position.
Yeah, absolutely. And along the lines of the passing game, the quarterbacks, I know that not the most appealing numbers through the air tonight. We've said this time and time again. It's not going to Utah's passing attack isn't going to show up on paper or come to be a thing until it really actually needs to be a thing. When you're getting 8 yards a carry, you're running for what do Utah finish at 380 yards? I mean, we're a broken record at this point, Pardo. Like, we talk about this every week. Utah wants to come out. They want to run it down your throat, not down your throat. They want to run it outside and around your throat. But it's pause. Next, stop.
Sorry.
That's on me. That's on me. Utah's getting what it wants on the ground, and that is the number one priority, is to run it and run it and run it and run up the score. And 55 points off of 380 yards of rushing, there you can't even complain about the passing until somebody stops it. And to that point, though, I did want to call out, like, it was there was early on, Dampier had a 2nd and 15 completion to Bentley for 16 yards to keep the chains moving. Like, there were some moments Utah just didn't pass the ball a lot. I wouldn't say it was a bad passing night. It's just, don't need to pass the ball when you're running for 400 yards, 8 yards a pop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Until they stop the run, you're not going to stop running the ball, right? Like, that's what we've learned. And Utah is doing it at such an elite level. It's incredible week in, week out. The story is, Utah wants to run the ball. That everybody knows they want to run the ball, and yet they continue to just run it at such an elite clip. 8 yards a pop, 380 total. Big play after big play after big play. And Spencer Fano talked about it in the postgame, with the player availability, that the offensive line, they have fun seeing these big plays ripped off. Like, they enjoy it as much as anybody else, because they know they're doing their job and everybody else is doing their job as well. It's a really big thing to have those big plays pop off like they did tonight. And so, let's sort of transition to some of the concerns, right? Tonight, the defensive struggles were really, really just concerning. I'm struggling for the words, but I haven't seen a Utah defense struggle in that manner, in the sense of miscommunication, giving up easy opportunities, breakdowns in coverage. That was a really surprising showing by the defensive secondary, especially considering the progress and improvement that they've made over the last month or so. Really surprising to see the secondary struggle like that. But give credit to Baylor. You're going to talk about Sawyer Robertson, but Baylor came into this with a great game plan to kind of exploit Utah's man coverage, and they really schemed up a lot of easy opportunities for Sawyer Robertson. Utah capitalized on one moment with Scooby Davis getting the interception and taking it back for 6. But outside of that, Baylor did a really good job with those switch releases to create easy opportunities for Sawyer Robertson to complete passes to the outside. That's what they went to time and time again. And that's a way to attack man coverage, are those switch releases. And Utah just didn't counter because they made enough plays where you can kind of get away with what you did tonight.
Yeah, there'll be a lot on tape that this team's going to need to get in and break down. Scottley's a junkie. He knows ball. He's going to watch this. He's going to find opportunities to adjust and tweak. This was a good thing for Utah defense, I would say.
Yeah.
Have a secondary, a pass defense that's top 10 in the country in terms of, you can throw any different kind of metrics you want at it, but if you just go by yards, it's like 6th in the country coming in this week. Probably going to take a notch down. But the secondary getting that battle test, getting an elite quarterback, elite throwing quarterback, getting that opportunity for the defense to learn from is going to be big. And a big thing, I was talking with Sly a little bit before the game ended, and
look at you
a little bit, yeah,
talking to Sly.
And he mentioned, he said the biggest thing is what did Baylor put on tape for the next team? And he's like, they put some stuff in the past game that, and he started speaking in his football lingo that, you know, I'm not going to try to replicate, but he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. I learned a couple things down there on the field in a second, but no, I mean, overall, giving up 28 points, a lot of credit to the defense for bending but not breaking. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but there are a lot of points left on this football field tonight. This could have been a
big shootout.
Yeah, this could have had 100 points scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, to the credit of the defense, getting the takeaways that they did, forcing the turnovers on downs, you know, getting those stops on fourth downs a couple times in this game, they made enough plays to give the offense the opportunities to create that separation. Obviously, Scooby getting the pick six, that helps. Trey Reynolds getting another pick, taking it down to the 9, like that stuff helps. But the takeaways where we've seen Utah grind out defensive efforts where they're limiting the overall production, but they're not getting those takeaways. The script was flipped on this game where you're giving up the yardage, but you're getting the takeaways, and that's what led to the big difference on the scoreboard. So, you know, an interesting dynamic because we're so used to how Utah has performed on defense week in, week out, where they just limit the efficiency, limit the yardage, and try to suffocate you. This was more just the big plays, the takeaways, which is just totally different than what we've seen, in other outings. But, you know, you compare this outing to what they did against Cincinnati, Brendan Sorsby, right? Same sort of efficiency. Robertson only completed 50% of his passes tonight. I think Sorsby finished around like 45, 40%, something like that. So similar efficiency and sort of in terms of the pass completion percentage. The difference tonight, obviously, was just connecting on the big plays, right? And that's where Utah exposes themselves when they play press man coverage, is if you get beat at the line of scrimmage, you're going to give up those big plays.
Yeah, and they've got a really talented group of targets there with Josh Cameron, who had 1 million yards tonight on 13 catches. I think it was 165 yards, 13 catches. Ashton Hawkins chipped in. Michael Trigg actually wasn't didn't put as much of his fingerprints all over this game. That
3 for 42.
Yeah, he was bottled up, and I think Jackson Benny had a lot of duties there. So credit there, but I mean that's a really talented group of those three right there. Sawyer Robertson being a great quarterback and having those targets. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get beat up a little bit in your secondary. I think where Utah really ran away was the 4 consecutive drives in the second half. Yeah. 4 consecutive drives with touchdowns, and like you said, you know, the defense did enough to get some of those stops that allowed Utah to just run away.
And in that first half, Baylor ended up with 51 total plays ran in that first half alone. Typically for Utah, you're ending up in the 60s in total plays played on defense. So they almost hit that total in the first half. And again, a big part of that is the defensive struggles. So they're a big part of why Baylor was able to get 51 plays ran in the first half. But the offense, when we typically see this offense, they're sustaining drives. They're eating up clock. They're keeping the defense on the sideline and giving them that rest. Tonight, it wasn't that. It was the big plays. It was the explosives, right? It was 3-play drives. It was a 64, 70, 67. A lot of numbers, 6, 7, a lot of them in there. God, I hate that I just hit.
You made me do it.
I
just my first time actually doing the hand motion and everything.
I hate myself.
It's all right. I messed up too.
But no, I think that was a big part of the defensive struggles in the first half was the amount of plays that Baylor was able to run. You could just kind of see late in that half, the defense was worn down, the breakdowns happened, the miscommunications happened, and that comes from being tired.
The Baylor student tarps came off.
They
willed Baylor to a touchdown late in the second half. They started doing the shirts off thing, and it got massive in the north end zone.
It really did.
when Baylor came out on the field down 28-10, came out on the field. Sawyer comes out to Sawyer, and energy matters, man.
It really does. So, challenge to the Muss.
Yeah.
Next week, I think Baylor up the score on the shirtless sections.
That was a big section.
It was a big section.
Everything is bigger in Texas.
It was what, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections up here in McLean Stadium. I think we're going to need to see the Muss go full shirtless.
Yeah, and
full shirtless.
I don't care what the temperature is in Waco versus Salt Lake. It's whatever it takes. Yeah.
This was an interesting point. The blitz. This one I'm going to add this to the show, but
Love John.
Scally just went full aggression and getting to the quarterback, and that's what we saw. When you look at the numbers in the first half compared to the second half, I think Utah ended up holding Baylor to under 200 yards. I think they finished right around 190 in the second half alone compared to 360 in the first half. Big time difference. And I think it was the aggression with the blitz and sending Jackson Benny in particular. He had a number of hits on Sawyer Robertson, one of which led to the interception for Trey Reynolds.
One of which Sawyer didn't like very much. It was good. I mean, the aggression went to the final whistle. We were talking about it. We were sitting in the north end zone at the end of the game. Baylor comes out instead of just running out the clock. They're trying to score points because they've got pride on the line too, right? And they're still lining up trying to score points, and we're still pinning ears back and blitzing, and
this one from Andrew Crane talking about for the first time this season, the preseason concerns with the defense showed up. And again, I think speaking to the coverage, there's a couple things here, right? Again, we talked about the Baylor schematics with those switch releases. It's a great way to attack man coverage because you're putting cornerbacks in conflict. You're either creating space with an off-ball corner, or you're potentially going to have two cornerbacks run into each other because that's sort of what you're hoping for. It's a natural pick play, essentially. But that's what they did a lot tonight. And then the big concern is these receivers were able to get on top of Utah's cornerbacks, get on top of them, leverage them, and get downfield and make those plays downfield. Utah gave up the same number of opportunities down the field to Cincy receivers. It's just that Baylor's receivers are much better. I think
bigger,
much
stronger,
bigger, stronger,
better
faster.
Body control, all of it.
So I'll be curious. I didn't see too many switch releases prior to tonight, and I think this is going to be a moment for Coach Shaw to go to the tape, and this is an opportunity to learn. This is going to be something that they're going to drill on pretty consistently this week because now, like you said earlier, Baylor put something on tape to attack this Utah defense, and now Utah has to counter. So they're going to spend a lot of time working on these switch releases, making sure the communication is good, potentially working on zone coverage a little more. That's going to be a big key for Utah this week.
Absolutely, and it's a lot better to learn from a win than from a loss. And you got a 27-point win tonight, and you have opportunities to get better. It's a great place to be. I had this as I don't know. I can't remember what I said officially when we were live on Thursday. And at some point I closed out and I said 41-27, and people didn't think that was enough. And so I'll take a 27-point win any way you chop that up.
That's the thing, right? Sly. That's the thing, right? A 27-point win. But what grade would you give this performance? Just assessing Utah's performance, what grade would you give it?
I'd go. Let me
let it marinate. I give it a B minus.
I want to go B plus, so I'm going to go B. That's
okay.
Where I was at is the thing that stops you from getting to an A there or A minus range is you gave up a lot of yards.
Exactly.
Where I'm at a B, maybe a B plus is there were a lot of points that were left on this football field tonight, and the defense and the secondary deserve credit because when it mattered most, they didn't limit production in terms of yard production, but they did limit the scoring production.
You've got people agreeing with you, B plus. I'm going B minus because the issues tonight I felt like were more Utah's fault than anything else. Obviously with the run game, A+, like that phase of the game, Utah was dominant. But in terms of the defensive issues, communication breakdowns, both pre-snap and during the play, just not communicating, a lot of breakdowns in coverage, and just little things like that. The passing game wasn't as efficient as we normally like to see it. And obviously understanding that Dampier isn't 100%, that he's dealing with injuries is going to, limit his effectiveness. But I go B- just because I felt like Utah, in terms of what they can control, Utah didn't have their above B type game. This was an ugly performance, but still to get a 27-point win, that says a lot.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
Okay, I'm gonna do this real quick for the.
Oh, what are we doing now? What?
For the homies.
The Gatorade bottle.
Stay hydrated. Curse is over.
Watch out your Gatorade coolers. Punch one if you have one.
Drink Gatorade, drink Powerade, drink water, honestly.
Oh, shout out Chili Dog U. Shout out
Dog U.
Shout out
Done
the
did
boys.
it.
Chili Dog U.
Done did it. I'm jealous that I can't smash chili dogs. I know DB says I can smash chili dogs, but
You can't.
I can't. I support it though. I 100% support it, and I think it's awesome what you guys are doing.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll be back. We'll record another episode Sunday night. Again, as frustrating as it was to watch this game, especially on the defense side of the ball, there are issues that they're going to address, that they're going to coach up. You still beat Baylor, a very good team in the Big 12. They've got talent. They've got arguably the top quarterback in the Big 12. To beat this team on their turf by 27 points without your best stuff, I think is actually really exciting to talk about, what it means moving forward. So Utah's got things to clean up. That'll be the big focus, I'm sure. And yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to the fans that showed up. There was a great showing of Utah fans here in Waco. They filled the first level, second level, and third level here at McLean Stadium. Really impressive stuff. Really impressive showing by Utah fans. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody back home. Man, excited to record tomorrow night with the fellas. And yeah, we'll wrap this one up. Appreciate everybody, and we'll be signing off.